Sonic villains have a special place in my heart. Regardless of the game they're in, there's something so special about the characters that Sonic Team creates that serve as the main villain of the story. Eggman, obviously, but I mean more so the one-offs. Chaos, Gerald Robotnik, yes, he counts, Neo Metal, Black Doom, Mephiles, Merlina, all of these characters hold a special place in the hearts of many for a plethora of reasons. First off, they're fucking cool, but also these characters are insanely well written with great characterization. These characters often make the stories they are part of. They simply wouldn't be the same without them, and while I know that's obvious, they are the villains, there's so many little nuances to these characters that make them feel more than just a one-note I'm evil because a mom forgot to pack my jello in my lunch character type. One of my favorites on this list, Gerald, wasn't always this evil man with plans to destroy the world. It was only when his entire life was taken away from him that he felt nothing but hatred towards the people that took everything away from him, the human race. He died with that anger still in his heart. It never subsided, and because of this, he was never able to appreciate the true beauty of the world and its people, unlike his creation, Shadow. Shadow lived long enough and was able to, albeit with the assistance of Maria's wish, realize the beauty of the world and come to save it in a selfless sacrifice. Gerald is a character that, on his own, is incredible and holds so many little nuances. You can't really get mad with him for wanting to take out everyone because, well, why would he have any respect for the human race after everything done to him? He's morally gray, and I find that to be a very special part of his character. Infinite is evil because he was called weak once. Yes, today we're talking about everyone's favorite potential man, third favorite potential man, Infinite. Infinite is such a sad case, man. He had so much potential to be one of the best villains to date, but due to, being brutally honest, incompetent writing, he was left as nothing but a wasted villain with characterization that would make only Zavok jealous. Now, hold on, before we continue, no, this is not a sponsor, I'd like to quickly promote my Patreon. For as low as the price of half a singular Big Mac a month, you can support the channel and keep it running. If you subscribe to any of these tiers, you can get exclusive behind the scenes of these videos, and even the videos themselves earlier on top of never-before-seen Patreon exclusive videos. There's currently 2 on there right now that will never be released on the main channel, on the Wii, and the coolest piece of Sonic merch I have. And regardless of what tier you purchase, your name will be front and center at the start of every video. So if you'd like to support the channel, it genuinely helps out a ton, as YouTube doesn't pay that well. Anyways, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment on what you think about Infinite. Let's get back to the video now. So, where to start? I have a lot to say, which makes this an incredibly hard topic to find where to start. Honestly, the best place to start currently is what Infinite actually is. Infinite actually has a backstory in that he was the leader of Jackal Squad, a team of mercenaries for Eggman. During episode Shadow, we see Jackal, yes, by the way, that is Infinite's real name apparently, engage in a fight with Shadow where he gets his ass absolutely beaten and humbled by Shadow. Shadow calls him weak, and this apparently strikes a nerve with Jackal as he cries out proclaiming he isn't. Well, Jackal, wanting to be more powerful, gets his wish as Eggman uses him as the person to harness the power of the Phantom Ruby. This is where everything in the story of Sonic Forces takes place, and we can gather actual character traits from Infinite. I doubt his character has a ton of depth, but if we want to be serious about this character, we have to kind of make things deeper than they actually are. For example, his ego and obsession with power. Infinite has a massive ego, and it's shown throughout that he uses the powers of the Phantom Ruby to make himself appear more intimidating, thus fueling his ego. We see this in cutscenes where he terrorizes the city and seems to scare people rather than do actual damage to them. This is put in focus when we see him spare the rookie whilst belittling him. This is the one decision that would ultimately lead to his demise, as a matter of fact. This dude aura farms constantly, and while the writers probably made him do that just to make him cool, it kinda just becomes a part of his character. This guy thinks he's hot shit, and he flaunts it constantly, which leads me to his second character trait. He's actually stupid as shit. We see him do this shit not once, but twice, where he spares a character that he could've killed and it comes back to bite him in the ass later when he gets killed by them. His ego and superiority complex often clouds his better judgment and makes him do stupid decisions. Also, notice how despite literally having, like, actually infinite power, the things he decides to do with said power are honestly pretty tame. We see him fuck with the rookie a little bit in Capital City pretty heavily, but we never directly see anything like absolutely batshit insane. Everything else significant is done off screen. Apparently Infinite killed like a bajillion people when Operation Big Wave went awry, but like, why do we never see this power from him anywhere else? His power is super inconsistent because I say he's stupid and doesn't utilize his power very well, but then there's things like this where suddenly he does, but we never directly see it, so it's hard to really imagine Infinite doing these large feats. And that is a problem with the writing of the game as a whole. They want Infinite to seem like this otherworldly powerhouse, but they kind of just say, trust me guys, he's actually ridiculously powerful. But they don't show me that he's powerful, except for a few small scenarios. His illusions are never really pushed to their limits, and all we see is him kicking Sonic and Silver's ass once, and while yeah, that's a pretty impressive feat, Sonic's gotten his ass beat more than I'd like to admit. Shadow, Knuckles, Silver, Sonic's been humbled quite a few times. Now, while this does make him really powerful, the difference between him and the people listed previously is that I actually care about them. When Shadow was out here going toe-to-toe with Sonic, I was actually impressed. Like, damn, this guy's so fucking awesome, and he's actually kind of equal to Sonic. They gave him a strong character, and you learn throughout the game, yeah, he has an ego, and he does like flaunting that he's the shit, but that's only really surface level of his character. These aren't his defining traits. They don't define who he is. With Infinite, those are his defining traits. There isn't really any nuance to his character. Everything about him is set in stone, and if it isn't nuance, rather inconsistencies or flaws in writing. Speaking of, you ever notice that they try to imply twice that Infinite's some sort of, like, robot? What? No, I'm not joking, and I don't think I'm missing the point either or anything. The first and most obvious case is during Lost Judgment or whatever the fuck that stage is called, where Tails is like, so this is where Infinite was built? And Amy's like, what a lonely place to be brought into the world! Huh? Number one, and I didn't even think about this until now, how do they know that? How do they know this is where Infinite was made? I don't even remember it being stated that it was. Aside from that though, what does that mean? Infinite was built here. What does that mean? Because, I mean, if you want to make it deeper than it is, you could make it make sense. Jackal wasn't born here, but Infinite was, you know? That's a cool way to phrase it, but, no, I doubt that was the intent. Does it mean built as in when the Phantom Ruby was attached to him? What the fuck does built mean? The Phantom Ruby wasn't built, the only thing built was the damn mask. And the mask isn't shit, it's just a mess from Party City as far as we're aware. What does Amy mean by a lonely place to be brought to the world? Bro, he wasn't born there! Now, you could make the case, if you really wanted to reach, that Amy and Tails didn't know there was Jackal before Infinite, so for all they know, Infinite was made here. But like, if that's the case, that's kinda just bad writing. Why would you tell that to the player? Nobody refuted it. The way it's worded makes it seem like fact. It's just strange to me. Now, the second case is one that I don't think anyone batted an eye over, but to me it's just fucking... Okay, so look, during the Avatar's bout with Infinite, once you get to, like half health, a little animation plays, and... What does that mean? What even is that? What the fuck? It's just shown, and with little fanfare, he never does it again. Near the second half, it looks like he's charging up energy or something, but that first half is really strange to me. What does this convey? Is he stressed? Is he angry? Because to me, that looks more like a glitch in the system or a machine malfunction more so than an emotion. Welcome to Game Theory. Infinite's a robot.
Don't you tell me how many calories I need, bitch!
Why would him charging up energy or whatever cause him to have an aneurysm? This 5-second cutscene, I swear to God, it pops up into my head constantly, and I have this, just nothing but confusion enter my psyche when I think of it. I think about this cutscene more than I should because it just baffles me. Truly, am I overthinking it? Yes. Is it pointless? And in reality, is it probably just a cutscene they added just for the cool factor and not to actually convey anything about his character? And they probably just did the eye twitch thing to make him look crazy, man. Fuck this game. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try to improve Infinite's character to see if I can do anything slightly better. First things first, I've seen a lot of Sonic Forces and Infinite character rewrites that miss the point of what does exist and then basically end up making an entirely different character. They want him to be smart, calculated, they want him to utilize his power to the fullest. I disagree with this idea completely because, again, things like his ego and, honestly, smarts get in the way of him utilizing his powers to the fullest. It's because he lacks a big imagination, because he doesn't think out his illusions to the fullest, that he can't use them to the fullest. However, he does need to do more. While he isn't the smartest, he is a genuine threat with busted powers. This is honestly a really easy thing to convey because they made a half-step attempt at trying to show it. Things like Operation Big Wave getting destroyed because of Infinite show us that. It is literally a matter of show don't tell. They like to tell us how strong he is without actually showing us enough to truly believe it. Fuck with the cast of characters more. Hell, I'd love to see some shit like what Mysterio did in Far From Home, where he creates these illusions for Peter that really mess with his head. Not directly harming them and choosing to toy with them would be in character, as well as we've already established, he kinda likes to play with his food before he eats it. That's the whole reason he kept Sonic alive. He didn't feel like their fight was enough, and so he left him on the ground, mocking him until the two's next bout. Next, I think we need to go more into his motives. You can have a character with little to no motives. Eggman is one of them. He just likes to mess shit up because he can, and that works for him. But the thing is, they want Infinite to have motives, but they're really shallow. He has an ego. He wants to be superior. That's fine. Just show us why. Show us why he wants to be the best. Show us why it hurts him so much to be called weak. Maybe he's got some childhood trauma. Hell, Shadow has a ton of it. I don't think it'd be too dark for a Sonic game to, like, explore a darker backstory for Jackal. Also, go more into his ego. Once he is at the top, becomes infinite, and has the power of the Phantom Ruby, I really think they should put more of a focus on his superiority complex. I just want to see more of him, really. Delve more into the side of him that defines him and flesh it out more. Because right now, unfortunately, most of his character traits are not born out of intention, but from oversights, I feel. Really, I just want to see an Infinite that has these traits and characteristics properly implemented into his character. Make them actually him. Infinite is so cool, man, but fuck, is he a wasted villain? Actually, Sonic's potential, man. He could have been amazing. Imagine the writers of SA2 wrote Infinite. Just, like, actually imagine that for a second. Really makes you go, damn, doesn't it? Yeah, shit sucks. They gave him a sick design, overly edgy for no reason, but kinda endearing and actually pretty good. His theme song, and quite literally infinite possibilities for uses of his powers, but they just couldn't deliver. And that's what the problem is, really. If they ever, somehow, choose to bring Infinite back, they're going to have to retcon some of the fundamentals of his character. They'd have to go back and change up his backstory, and that's why I think he will probably never have a main role again. That and the fact that literally no villain ever except Black Doom is returned. So yeah, that also stings a little. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, Patreon for $2.50. Literally half a Big Mac. I actually looked that up. I genuinely looked at it. It is half a Big Mac's like $6 now, man. But anyways, with all that said, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.